Right now, the U.S. Department of Education is under the DOGE axe. As we've been reporting, the potential dismantling of the cabinet-level agency is being met with resistance from Democratic lawmakers and teachers' unions across the country.
Yeah, but a government watchdog group reached out to CBS 12 News I-Team about a scathing report, and that's about to publish the Department of Education's questionable spending of millions of tax dollars.
I-Team Chief Investigator Mike Magnoli is in the newsroom with the surprising details. Mike.
So the group behind this is called Open the Books, and they say they are at the forefront of the transparency revolution. One of the agencies that they're looking at is the Federal Department of Education. Now, we've got to point out here that most school funding comes from state and local sources, but Congress gives the Department of Education hundreds of billions of dollars every year. President Trump has already cut staff at the U.S. Department of Education, and he says he's transferring oversight of the $1.7 trillion in federal student loans to the Small Business Administration, actions that have already sparked one lawsuit and likely more to come. As all of that's happening, I sat down for a Zoom interview with Rachel O'Brien. She's an investigator with Open the Books, a watchdog group and the largest taxpayer transparency organization in the country. They audit federal agencies and they publish detailed reports on where our money is going. You could call that some DOGE night table reading.
Every time Open the Books does an investigation of federal agencies, the Department of Education always comes up high on the list of those needing reform. It failed its third audit in a row last year. So time after time, the Department of Education just keeps showing us that they are not responsible stewards of taxpayer money.
Some examples of this, according to Rachel's research, include sending millions of dollars to China to somehow help schools here in America.
We found almost $3 million in recent years went to some Chinese firms from the Department of Education. So 1.7 million went to a real estate broker company, Dalian Jihai, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, real estate broker company, to help local educational agencies improve teaching and learning in high poverty schools for children most at risk of failing. Another 700,000 went to actually a restaurant, Beijing Jianhan. It's really confusing why any Chinese firms would be getting money to provide any sort of service to American students.
Rachel says those Chinese companies had something to do with soybeans and free hot lunches. Open the Books also found the Department of Education pumped $1.3 million into a program at Framingham State University in Massachusetts. Money for educational materials featuring a cookie. But whatever you do, don't call it a gingerbread man.
And I'm sorry, just to be correct, it's the gingerbread person, which is very important in this context, right? Because we're now at a point in a lot of this teaching that you know, there are no genders or there are new genders. And so absolutely, this is a genderbread person. The grant was specifically for remixing textbooks through an equity-focused lens.
A final highlight from the report. The University of Virginia received $1.6 million from the Department of Education for a program, though what it does, I'm not quite clear on.
Development and validation of the culturally and racial equity sustaining classroom assessment system.
What does that mean, Rachel? What does that mean?
We don't get a lot of details in these grants, and that's part of the problem, right? So the University of Virginia is given $1.6 million for this. They don't report back on how they've implemented it.
I've asked the Department of Education for comment on all of this. So that includes the genderbread person, the Chinese companies, and that last item. I'll let you know when they respond. And this is just one audit from the organization. They've done dozens of these. And this is a reason why the administration says these tax dollars would be better spent by the states and local school boards. I'm Mike Magnoli, CBS 12 News.